Nearly 4 years on from the dark days of COVID, a new survey from the Property Council of Australia sketches out in graphic terms the impact of hollowing out our major capital cities by forcing virtually everybody to work from home. Remember that well. Now, as we reach mid-2025, it's not a pretty picture indeed. If you're trying to run a small business in a major city, in a CBD, like a coffee shop, a sandwich store, say, or a dry cleaners or a shoe repair business, you'd be lucky to still be trading. And no surprise, the most locked-down city in the world, Melbourne, is struggling the most, with 1 in 5, I repeat that, 1 in 5 office spaces sitting empty for more than 12 months. And what does the Premier of that state release at her Labor conference last weekend? Well, this was Jacinta Allen last Saturday.
My Labor government will make working from home a right. Not a request, a right. If you can reasonably do your job from home, you'll have the right to do so for at least 2 days a week, public or private.
1 in 5 office blocks empty. And what do? They talk about working from home. And what do they say about making a mistake and repeating it over and over and over again? Well, you're doomed to make the same mistake. Now, Melbourne has the highest vacancy rate in the nation, sitting at 17.9%. By contrast, Sydney's at 13.7% and Brisbane at 10.7%. Now, to compare pre-COVID vacancy percentages for Melbourne, you won't believe this, the office empty figure was 3.4%, the lowest of any state in the country. I mean, this should make every Victorian angry. Dan Andrews blew the joint up and has walked away with a lifetime pension, free office space and the opportunity to work as he wants while leaving a smoking ruin behind him. And Premier Allen can't see the wood for the trees, arguing to win applause, apparently, from her union-based mate, the audience last weekend, and votes from young people, especially young women, who she wants to give the right to tell their own bosses, look, sorry, by law, I can work from home 2 days a week. Now, it's the reason I find it very hard to swallow this comment from the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, who's riding shotgun, obviously, for his Labor mate, Premier Allen.
What I've tried to do, whether it's this question you've just asked me or a whole range of questions about state governments, is to not kind of sit in constant judgment of the policy steps that they take. The Victorian government supports work from home, as does the Commonwealth government.
Now, the Property Council also released stats on office attendance for the first quarter of this year, 2025. Naturally, it tells a similar story. Melbourne, the worst, on 63%. And here's the rub. Looking at the same figures for Perth and Adelaide, and the WA capital sitting at 93%, Adelaide at 88%. What a difference. Look, I've said this over and over again. The toxic Victorian Labor government is driving people out of the state, and when I claim that, actually, Melbourne's population, they all say, oh, it's growing, the population's going up. Well, of course it is. It's immigration, including tens of thousands of foreign students studying here. It's shameful what 10 years of Labor has done to Victoria. Now, just before I go to Canberra, one other quick point on the economy. We learned today that a national transport company, after 35 years in business, has collapsed, owing millions of dollars and putting 200 people out of work. It's called XL Express. It runs up and down the East Coast, Brisbane-based, running freight up and down between Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne. Now, it went into voluntary administration in June and it fell over today, owing around $42 million to creditors. Why do I mention this? Well, I mention this because it seems these are daily events in construction, hospitality, transport, you name it. So how come Jim Chalmers says everything is rosy? It's not. And for many Australians, it feels like we're actually in a recession.